There we go. All right. So we'll pull up the deck list here in just a second. And take a look at it while the players get started. All right. So I'm just letting them know that I'm ready whenever they are, and I'm going to go over the deck list. Okay, there we go. So I have let Discord know we're going live here. Let's take a look at these deck lists. All right. Dragon, this is new Mitsu dueling. So this is the pretty standard version of Dragon using High House of Light. I know Demagogue made this deck fairly popular in some of the tournaments. I believe in the first LLO tournament was where this deck won. And this is a slight variation of that. We see 3 Void Fists instead of just a single Void Fist and then 2 Mantra of Fire. But it looks like Return the Offense, Duelist Training, Proving Ground, going to be used to draw cards, Policy Debate to get rid of cards from your opponent. We see New Mitsu going to be used to trigger extra ring effects. I know the Earth Ring's a popular choice for that, again, to draw cards and discard cards from your opponent. And then Duelist Training, of course, going to bow characters. Dragon Tattoo to possibly get double uses out of Policy Debate, and Way of the Dragon to get double uses out of Mitsu and these Duelist Trainings. So we've seen this be a pretty powerful Dragon deck that can fight back when needs to, even from a behind position. It can make a pretty good comeback. So let's take a look at our Scorpion deck now. So Scorpion, we're on Kyoden Bayushi. We are Keeper of Air, so Secret Cache, Effective Deception, Meditations on the Tau, Shameful Display, and Midnight Revels. It looks like this is a Noble Sack deck. We've got 2 Noble Sack, 1 Return the Offense, 3 Soul Beyond Reproach, and Forged Edict as their restricted card. So going to be trying to dishonor characters and then throw them off bridges. And that's not going to be good if the Dragon Tower gets thrown off a bridge. That'll put Dragon way behind. So with open deck list, Dragon should know to watch out for that. But this should be an interesting game. We'll see how it goes. Let's see if they've started yet or are ready to begin. Looks like we're just waiting. So I'll let them know again that I'm ready. All right, so let's see here. We're just waiting for them to begin. So while we're waiting, if you've got any questions about the deck list, or you just got any questions in general, go ahead, throw them out in the chat. It does look like they are starting here, so we'll see what mulligans that they take. All right, we see good luck coming in from the Scorpion player, wishing that to the Dragon player. Scorpion mulligans 3. And Dragon coming in with the good luck as well in the have fun. They mulligan 2 from their dynasty, and they mulligan all 4 of their conflict. And Scorpion mulligans 2 from their conflict. So on our flips, we see an Imperial Storehouse, a Katsuki Investigator, a Season of War, a Favorable Ground, and a Tranquil Philosopher for Dragon. On the Scorpion side, we see Governor Spy, Dispatch to Nowhere, Bayushi Liar, and Vice Proprietor. So we see this Kitsuki Investigator bot with 3. And so Dragon's going to pass here, and we see Bayushi Liar bot with none. So Dispatch to Nowhere is going to be another way to kill whatever Dragon Tower happens. You just need a Dispatch to Nowhere flip when they've got no fate. Dragon does have ways to put fate back on their characters with this High House of Light, but during the Dynasty phase, they won't be able to do that because it does have to be during a conflict. So it could just line up just right that the tower has no fate in the Dynasty phase and a Dispatch to Nowhere flips. So another potential kill that Dragon has to be worried about. We do see Vice Proprietor bot with 1, and then both players bid 5. So this Imperial Storehouse can draw Dragon another card, and Liar, when it leaves play, will draw another card for Scorpion. Dragon passes their conflict opportunity, giving the initiatives to Scorpion. Scorpion passes their conflict, and we might just see passes all the way through here. No one really wants to make the first move here, because that Vice Proprietor can defend and then just bow this Investigator. And if Scorpion attacks first, Investigator can take out the best card from hand immediately. So we do see, though, that Dragon will take their second conflict and go Political Earth right at Meditations on the Tau, trying to get rid of this Dispatch to Nowhere. And we do see this Vice Proprietor defend. So Vice Proprietor can dishonor itself to force your opponent to choose a character and bow that character. And we'll also see Meditations on the Tau take a fate off of this Investigator. So we see Ambush, Assassination, Backhanded Compliment, 2 Bonsai, Calling in Favors, 4 Shame, Noble Sacrifice, and Sadako. And we see that Noble Sacrifice is discarded. Then Vice Proprietor dishonors itself to bow this Investigator. We see Court Games used to honor the Investigator. And we see 4 Shame used to dishonor the Investigator. All right, so Scorpion going to take this Earth Ring, and then they're going to attack in politically with this Bayushi Liar, and they can ready the Proprietor with their Stronghold, and will attack in with both. Looks like they are going Military Void with just the Proprietor here, just to scout, and it is a shameful display. So we might see this favorable ground to move the Investigator in just to get it honored. And there is a Sadako still in hand for Scorpion. So there is a chance we will see Scorpion play the Sadako. But they do play Bonsai instead to give +4 skill to this Proprietor. All right, so we do see Shameful Display used to honor the Investigator. And then we see Imperial Storehouse to draw a card, and now we're looking at a policy debate. So 1-to-1 bid. So we see another card discarded, and we see Calling in Favors as the choice there to get rid of in the Scorpion hand. Dragon definitely doesn't want to have their attachment stolen, so getting rid of Scorpion's attachment control is going to be good. However, Shameful is going to go ahead and break here. and Scorpion is going to take favor. Um, I do believe Scorpion is running censure. No, they are not. No censures. So just the Forge Edict, what they're relying on. So they don't need favor for censure. All right. So this investigator going bye-bye to this dispatch to nowhere because the Void Ring took that extra fate off of them. So meditations on the Tau and that Void Ring killed the investigator much earlier than Dragon had hoped for. But we do see they buy another investigator with 3 fate, and Scorpion buys a vice proprietor with 2. All right, so both players, again, bid 5, draw 5 cards here. Fairly common for Dragon to always wanting to bid 5, especially this deck, and wants to play lots of cards during conflicts. So still on the Dragon side, we see another favorable ground came out and a Swordsmith. On the Scorpion side, we see the Governor's Spy is still there and a Soci-Illusionist. So we see a military water attack into Restoration of Balance with this Vice Proprietor. So favor's going to be enough to win this ring, but won't break the province. And I don't think Scorpion wants this to break right now. But Dragon actually probably wants it to break, to just get rid of several cards in the Scorpion player's hand. But we do just see passes from both sides, and then the Water Ring doesn't get used. We see Vice Proprietor readied with the Stronghold, and then a Soul Beyond Reproach to honor it. So I imagine we might see a way of the Scorpion to dishonor this investigator and then throw it off a bridge. So at this point, you kind of don't want this investigator into a conflict unless you can honor it somehow. So we do see Dragon goes ahead and passes their conflict. So now, if Scorpion attacks quickly here and only has the one way to dishonor or the one noble sacrifice, Investigator can pick it from hand. And so we do see Scorpion pass their conflict opportunity. And so Dragon is now going to attack politically and probably going to still try and look at the hand and see if there's a noble sacrifice to get rid of. So if Scorpion has more than one noble sacrifice, or we just attack into effective deception here to cancel the investigator's check for hands, we could definitely see this investigator get thrown off a bridge. So we're going to see an all-in defense here. And the honored proprietor gets dishonored, so that would turn off the noble sack play, but this bows the investigator. So Scorpion claims the air ring gets a fate off of their Keeper of Air. So Scorpion up on fate quite a bit right now. And this vice proprietor sticking around, going to continue to put some pressure on the dragon just by being able to bow their character. But this investigator being able to look at Scorpion's hand is going to be useful. Keep picking and targeting cards that you don't want Scorpion to have. We see the Governor's Spy not discarded for Scorpion, and the Season of War not discarded for Dragon. For Dragon, we see another Season of War, a Doom Shigenja, a Proving Ground, and a Mia Mystic. Flop for Scorpion, we see an Alibi Artist, an Imperial Storehouse, and a Geisha House. Flip. So we see the Doom Shigenja bot on Dragon, and I imagine we might see a Season of War use here. Even though Proving Ground is a great way to draw cards, you don't have a lot of other options right now for Dragon. And so we do see Season of War used, and we see a Swordsmith, a Disciple of Shinsei, a Mitsu, and a Tranquil Philosopher show up for Dragon. On the Scorpion side, we see Shoju, a Keeper Initiate, another Alibi Artist, and a Bayushi Liar. If you're out there in the chat and can hear me, let me know. I haven't seen anyone talking during this match, and want to make sure that I can be heard. So we do see Mitsu bot with 3, so that is who Dragon was looking for. Mitsu's going to be the typical tower target for this Dragon deck. And Scorpion's probably going to be looking to try and throw them off a bridge if possible. So we see the Liar and the Alibi Artist bot with 1 on this Scorpion side. And so we see a bid of 5-2-3 here. So Dragon's still bidding 5, but Scorpion dropping down to 3. Lion dropping down to, or not Lion, Dragon dropping down to 9 honor. You can tell I'm still a bit tired. But we see a political fire attack into Shameful Display. So the Governor's Spy is going to defend this, and I imagine we'll see Shameful Display used. And that's going to make it hard for Dragon to win this conflict. But we could see after Shameful gets used, we could see Hawk Tattoo to bring Mitsu into the conflict. And then several cards get played to allow Mitsu to trigger and re-honor this Investigator. We do see the Investigator does get triggered first to take a look at Scorpion's hand, just so we can see what Scorpion can do with their 13-card hand. So we see Ambush, 2 Assassinations, 2 Backhanded Compliments, Bonsai, Calling in Favors, Court Games, a Goblin Sneak, Return the Offense, Miyako, Sadako, and a Soul Beyond Reproach. And we see Calling in Favors to be discarded there. Again, Dragon doesn't want their attachments stolen. Governor's Spy flips the cards face down for Dragon. So we know Dragon's going to flip all of those cards again. I'm not going to see all but 1 new card next turn. All right, and so we see Dragon just pass, and then Scorpion plays Assassination to get rid of this Doom Shigenja. All right. So we now have an honored Governor's Spy and a dishonored Investigator on the board. That Governor's Spy is going to keep uh, doing work on the Dragon Dynasty deck, making sure that Dragon doesn't really get to see any new cards. So Dragon's going to want to try and get them off the board as soon as possible. So we might see Mitsu get a Way of the Dragon played and possibly do a double Void to clear the Scavenger Spy off the board earlier if possible. We see Goblin Seek come down on the Scorpion side, stealing a Fate from the Dragon player, and then they attack into Upholding Authority. So if this breaks, they'll lose a few more cards. So we'll see if Dragon decides to defend here. All right, and it looks like currently in the series, looks like maybe we have one of the USA games that hasn't reported, but it looks like USA is currently up 3 games to 1. And the game that's not reported, I'm not sure who won it. So if Dragon wins this for USA, that will be another win for Team USA in this round of the World Cup. But if USA won the game that wasn't reported, then these match results are just for pride, as USA would have already won. So we do see a bonsai used to break this Upholding Authority. And so we see 2 backhanded compliments discarded for Scorpion, and Duelist Training discarded to the Earth Ring. So Scorpion, with that bonsai, is now down to 6 honor, so they can use their Alibi Artist. So we'll see that triggered. All right, now Dragon could attack in here. This Vice Proprietor will likely dishonor themselves to bow Mitsu, but Mitsu can stand himself back up by triggering the Water Ring after 5 cards are played in a conflict. But Dragon does just pass their conflict opportunity, so we'll likely see Mitsu just defend here. And it looks like we're seeing Political Void with the Alibi Artist, the Liar, and the Proprietor. And so that's going to be 7 political skill, and Mitsu's at 5. So we see attack into Midnight Revels. Midnight Revels is off right now because Mitsu is the highest cost character on board. So even if this doesn't break, that's going to be the province that Scorpion keeps going to until they have a 5 cost character on board. And I imagine they just don't buy this Shoju to make sure that Midnight Revels is on. So we do see Mitsu defend here. And we do know that there is a court games in hand, so that could dishonor this Mitsu. But I do imagine we'll see Mitsu get towered up. So first action, we see High House of Light to make Mitsu unable to be targeted by the opponent's event so that court games can't dishonor them. And then we see court games used to honor Mitsu. And I love this card tracker now because that's become particularly important in the Dragon matchup, as a lot of either Dragon cards or Dragon characters have started caring about how many cards are played in a conflict. And so this makes it quick and easy to see. So we do see a Seal of the Dragon get played on Mitsu. So that is 2 cards played. We see a Katana attached. So that's 3. So we're looking at 2 more cards being played this conflict, and then Mitsu can trigger a ring effect. We see Way of the Dragon come down, so after the next card gets played, Mitsu will be able to trigger 2 ring effects. And they want to save one of these ring effect triggers for after this proprietor goes, or they want to use the fire ring to dishonor the proprietor so the proprietor can't dishonor itself to bow this Mitsu. So we do see a 5th card played, and it is Hurricane Punch. Hopefully Dragon is thinking about that proprietor. So we see Mitsu trigger the Earth Ring. All right, and we just see a pass there. We don't see the second use of Mitsu. All right, so no characters leave play this turn. And Shoju stays in the province for Scorpion. So Scorpion potentially considering buying them. The new card for uh, Dragon is this Gaijutsu, who is definitely one they want to see. That allows additional readies for Mitsu with the tattoos, which I do believe there are 3 Hawk tattoos and 2 Dragon tattoos in this deck. So those are, yeah, 3 Hawk tattoos, 2 Dragon tattoos. Those are additional readies with Gaijutsu out for Dragon. So I imagine we see Gaijutsu get purchased, and this Keeper Initiate and Swordsmith staying there. But actually, we do see the Swordsmith get purchased with 2 instead. So Dragon looking for some specific attachments, most likely. Yeah, we see the Shameless Gossip bot with 2, and then Scorpion passes. So Dragon's going to go ahead and trigger the Swordsmith in the Dynasty phase, and they go and grab Tattoo. Both players bid 1. We have reached the bid 1 phase of the game. And is Governor Spy going to be able to flip down again this Keeper Initiate, Disciple of Shinsei, and Gaijutsu? So again, Dragon next turn only going to be able to see 1 new character. But it looks like we're just seeing this Goblin Sneak attack into Midnight Revels, which is still off because Mitsu is the only 5-cost character on board. So it looks like we're going to see Mitsu go ahead and defend here. We see both players just pass immediately. All right, Dragon passes their conflict. So if Scorpion comes in attacking politically, this investigator is going to be able to take another card from their hand. And we see, it looks like we're going to see a almost all-in political attack here. Air at Midnight Revels from Scorpion, leaving just the Gossip at home. All right, and we see just a defense from this investigator. And I imagine we see first action investigator to discard a card. And so we'll see what the new card is that Scorpion drew. So we see Assassination discarded to save the Swordsmith. So we do see Forged Edict. There are two of those in hand now for Scorpion. We also see Ambush, Return the Offense, Miyako, Sadako, Soul Beyond Reproach, and Way of the Scorpion. So we see Formal Invitation played on Mitsu to bring Mitsu into this conflict. And so I imagine here we will see 4 more cards played by Dragon to allow Mitsu to trigger some ring effects. We do see High House of Light triggered to stop Mitsu from being the target of events again. So we see Dragon Tattoo. So that indicates to me possibly a policy debate here versus either this alibi artist or this vice proprietor. Although with Mitsu's political skill, really any of the characters would be fine to duel against. Yeah, and we do see policy debate versus the alibi artist. So we'll see 1 bids here. Policy debate, a very strong card right now. And we do see Forged Edict used to dishonor the liar to cancel policy debate. But policy debate will just get triggered by Dragon Tattoo. But we see Defend Your Honor actually used to cancel the Forged Edict. So this policy debate will go through. And we see Soul Beyond Reproach discarded. And then Dragon Tattoo plays policy debate again. We could see the other Forged Edict used here, but it looks like they choose not to. So Scorpion definitely losing the card advantage here. And so we see Way of the Scorpion discarded with this second use of policy debate. Alibi Artist goes to draw a card. So 5 cards have now been played by Dragon. So Dragon's going to resolve a ring effect. They use water to ready Mitsu. Will we see a Return the Offense now? We see a new name played down on Mitsu. A Return the Offense would be really great for Dragon right now. Having this Mitsu go into one of these one of these Scorpion provinces would be great. Will they remember they have a second ring effect that they can do due to this Way of the Dragon? They didn't use it last turn. We see Governor Spy flip all the cards face down for Dragon. And there we do. We do see Return the Offense, Mitsu versus Alibi Artist. So this Mitsu's going to stay standing for another conflict. So let's see a second ring trigger. Trigger that void ring again to get this Governor Spies off the table. We don't see another trigger here. And I don't think Dragon wants to spend another 5 cards to get another trigger out of Mitsu. But we do see Military Earth into Effective Deception. And the Shameless Gossip will defend. And with this Gossip participating, we could see the Honor token and Dishonor token on Mitsu and the Investigator get swapped, bringing them both to neutral status, I believe is how that works. We see Sadako come into play with 4 Fate by Scorpion. So that is a lot of Fate on a 2-cost character. But again, with open deck lists and knowing that there are no assassinations in the Dragon deck, you can get away with that. Instead, we see Shameless Gossip used to move the Dishonor tokens to Sadako. So Sadako, now dishonored, gets to add their glory instead of subtract it from their skills. So having a dishonored Sadako is going to be good for Scorpion. They use their Stronghold to ready to tie on Favor. And so Favor will stay where it is. Scorpion will keep Favor. And this Investigator, now with no Fate, if we see another Dispatch to Nowhere, this Investigator is going to go away. Dragon needs to keep that in mind for this Mitsu for going into next turn in case the third Dispatch to Nowhere shows up. And we do see Dispatch to Nowhere show up, so this Investigator is going to go away. We see Yokuni is the extra card that Dragon flips, but we see this Gaijutsu bot with 2. Which is probably the better buy here because we do know there is at least 1 tattoo in hand because it was grabbed with the Swordsmith. We know there's a single hawk tattoo, so having an extra ready for this Mitsu is always nice. We see Blackmail Artist purchased with 2 by Scorpion, and Dragon passes to gain an extra Fate here. All right, so both players still bid 1. And we see Swordsmith grab a Duelist training. So Meditations and Shameful are currently flipped. Revels and Secret Cache are provinces that we haven't seen. So Revels is likely on the Stronghold, and so Secret Cache is going to be the unknown province in the row here for Scorpion. So none of these provinces is great for Mitsu to attack into, because giving Scorpion a card of their choice in the top 5 of their deck isn't the best, but with the current options, that might be the best one to attack into with Mitsu right now. And we're seeing a Military Void. Going to take this extra 2 Fate off this Void Ring. And deciding to go into this Meditations. So going to lose a Fate here, probably planning to play 5 cards and take this Fate off the Fire Ring to put back on Mitsu. But that leaves a potential for the third Dispatch to Nowhere to show up and kill Mitsu during the next dynasty phase. Oh, just kidding. Just looking at the deck list, there are only 2 dispatch in this Scorpion list. So had I looked at that, I would have definitely known Meditations is the right call here for Mitsu. So we're going to see 5 cards get played here. And then Mitsu get the Fate off this Fire Ring after High House of Light gets triggered. So we see Duelist Training get attached, Cloud the Mind onto Governor Spy, and then we see Hurricane Punch used once, and then again with Dragon Tattoo. So that is 4 out of 5 cards. And then we see a second Duelist Training come down on this Mitsu. So with Way of the Dragon, Mitsu currently has 4 duels with these Duelist Trainings. So we do see the High House of Light trigger to put a Fate on this Mitsu. There are no more Dispatch to Nowheres to worry about. We see an Earth Ring trigger, gets rid of Return the Offense. And we see another Earth Ring trigger, and that gets rid of Ambush. So Scorpion now down to just 4 cards in hand. So Dragon definitely in a really good position. Void Ring takes this last Fate off of Governor Spy, and Keeper Initiate comes into play. So Dragon going to be able to see 2 new cards, 3 new cards, because this Yokuni will leave during their next Dynasty phase. That'll be the first time in a while, and they'll be able to discard this Disciple of Shinsei as well. All right, so we're seeing a military air attack with Sadako. Well, it looks like they're changing to Earth here into Midnight Rebels. Again, Rebels still off with Mitsu being the only 5-cost character. We do know there is a Hawk Tattoo in hand. So I imagine we see Hawk Tattoo, ready Mitsu, and then we've got these Duelist Trainings to bow this Sadako, and a Return the Offense to keep Mitsu standing. So this Mitsu is really hard to deal with if you can't get rid of their attachment somehow. All right, so we see Kaden Bayushi used to stand the Sadako. Sadako's also going to get a +1/+1 from that because Scorpion is under 6 honor right now. And we do see an attack into Secret Cache with this Swordsmith and Mitsu, Political Air. And Scorpion going in with an all-in defense here. We see Wave the Scorpion to dishonor Mitsu. And Defend Your Honor used to cancel that. And then we're going to see Duelist Training to bow the Governor Spy. And with 4 triggers of this Duelist Training, Mitsu can just bow out the entire Scorpion side. So we see Shameless Gossip used to move the honor token to Gaijutsu. So we see another Duelist Training to duel this Sadako. And so Dragon currently breaking this secret crash at this point. And we see a Way of the Scorpion to dishonor Mitsu. And we see another Defend Your Honor used to cancel that. So trying to dishonor this Mitsu, I'm thinking that we have the Noble Sack in hand. And since we're not seeing the policy debate, I imagine Dragon does not have that. Otherwise, you definitely want a policy debate just to make sure and get that out of hand if you can. But it looks like Dragon just passes. And Scorpion does have quite a few conflict characters. One Sadako, one Miyako, two Goblin Sneak, a Kachiko, and a Collector. We've seen the Sadako. We've seen at least one of the Goblin Sneaks. I'm not sure if we've seen both or not here. We see Ibuki disguised over this Governor Spy. But Dragon's still breaking this. And we see Duelist Training used to bow the blackmail artist. Ooh, we see Compelling Testimony used to give Mitsu -4 political. So we see Duelist Training used to bow this Ibuki, bringing it down to 7 political versus 2. So Dragon back up to being able to break this, but that is all the uses of Duelist Training. And Scorpion down to just 2 cards in hand. Yeah, there we go. We see no more cards played from either player in Secret Cash breaks. Error Rings resolve to take 1 honor from the Scorpion player. They'll get that back at the end of turn when Ibuki leaves play. And Scorpion passes their last conflict as there's no characters that can participate. So they didn't have a conflict character there. It would have been very interesting had their last 2 cards been Noble Sack and a conflict character that they could win a conflict with, because then they could have possibly dishonored this Mitsu with a Fire Ring and gotten rid of them. It would have been a hard battle with the Gaijutsu and Keeper Initiate, though, representing 6 political skill. All right, so for Dragon, we see a Season of War and a Proving Ground, a Mia Mystic, a Disciple of Shinsei, and a Cycle of Rebirth. On the Scorpion side, we see an Imperial Storehouse, an Alibi Artist, a Manipulator, and a Disciple of Shinsei. So we see Scorpion buy the Disciple of Shinsei with 2 fate, and then Dragon uses the Cycle of Rebirth to shuffle their Disciple of Shinsei into their deck. and they get a Proving Ground and a Swordsmith in their place. So this stronghold is going to be Midnight Revels. But even with Mitsu getting bowed by Revels, there is a chance that Dragon can just play 5 cards and then stand Mitsu with the Water Ring using his ability. And so Midnight Revels may not actually affect Dragon as badly as Scorpion needs it to right now. Scorpion is first player here, so we'll see if they decide to attack or if they are going to be on the defense here. And also with this Gaijutsu in play, that's another additional ready for Mitsu. As I imagine, with only 7 cards left in the conflict deck for Dragon, they have either a Hawk Tattoo or a Dragon Tattoo, because there's 1 more Dragon Tattoo and 2 more Hawk Tattoos in their deck. And we see they grab a Dragon Tattoo with the Swordsmith, so we know they have a tattoo in hand. And so that is another ready. So this Midnight Revels on the Stronghold isn't going to be very effective for Scorpion. So this looking really good for Dragon right now. But we'll see how this conflict goes. We see the second Swordsmith grab a Katana. And this Disciple of Shinsei attacking Military Water, it's looking like into Midnight Revels. All right, so we see just a Keeper Initiate defend here, and then an immediate pass. So this indicating to me that there is indeed a Hawk Tattoo in hand for this Mitsu as well, because Mitsu's going to get bowed with the Water Ring. And so Scorpion currently representing oh, with this Miyako, that's going to change, so I won't even finish that sentence. So we see Miyako come in over this Disciple of Shinsei. The Disciple of Shinsei is going to leave play and get rid of one of these attachments on Mitsu. And it is one of the 2 duelist trainings. And then Miyako will dishonor one of these swordsmiths, I imagine. Yeah, dishonors the swordsmith with no fate. All right, so we're going to see these 2 swordsmiths attack in. All right, so currently military skill, Scorpion is representing 9 with the Gossip, the Sadako, the Blackmail Artist, and Miyako. I think I did my math right. 10? Let's see, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 10. Versus 2 right now with Dragon. But Dragon has, we know, a Dragon Tattoo in hand. The fact that they didn't really defend that Water Ring, let Mitsu get bowed, indicates a Hawk Tattoo as well. So Mitsu's going to come in with all of his military might. And we do see it is Midnight Revels on the Stronghold, so 6 strength. We see a Dishonor token move to Mitsu. There are no honored characters on Scorpion's side right now, so no possibility for Noble Sack right now. But we do see Hawk Tattoo used, and then immediate use of High House of Light to protect Mitsu from any more Scorpion events. So currently 12-9. So this Mitsu, even dishonored, still representing quite a bit of military force. So yeah, at 9. So this Mitsu still at 9 military skill with a double use of duelist training thanks to Way of the Dragon. Can bow 2 of these characters, and then once 5 cards are played, can get himself all the way to honored. And with Scorpion only having 4 cards in hand, I'm not sure how much they can actually do to stop Dragon here. So this is looking like it's likely going to be the end, but we'll see what Scorpion can do. We see calling in favors to pull the other duelist training to Miyako. So no current duels for Mitsu. And I believe we saw the third duelist training was discarded to an Earth Ring earlier. So I believe that is all the duelist trainings. Let's see here. Yeah, that is all the duelist trainings. So no bows for Mitsu. But we see a katana come down on Mitsu here. But playing 5 cards and getting Mitsu all the way up to honored, I still think is going to be enough to break here, because that will be an additional 6 skill for Dragon. Miyako going to duel these swordsmiths. And that swordsmith only contributing 1 skill, so not that big of a deal. We see Cloud the Mind come down on Sadako, reducing the skill there. So Sadako representing 4 skill, now representing 0, thanks to this Cloud the Mind. So Dragon currently breaking. Doesn't actually need to do anything else to win this game. But I'm sure they still have 2 cards they could easily play to honor this Mitsu. So even if Scorpion does have anything else that they can do right now, I don't know how much it's going to matter. We see the Stronghold triggered to give +1/+1 to Miyako, but that's still breaking. So didn't really change anything. We see Void Fist used to send Sadako home. And we do see a pass from Scorpion and pass from Dragon. So that is going to be it. That was definitely well played by both players. Here's Scorpion had a very good start early on, and then Mitsu showed up just in time for Dragon, and was able to carry them to the end of the game, giving the win to Team USA here. So that's going to be it for this World Cup match. Thanks so much for tuning in, for hanging out as we watch. I really do appreciate it. We'll catch more games as they're going throughout the day.